Milan.
This was tough.
This was very tough. I almost did something like ridiculous. Top. So top, I went Theo.
You went Theo?
I went Theo for top.
I went Pulisic, man.
You went Pulisic.
Because it was his first season.
I get you.
Scored.
But top isn't about exceeding expectations. That might be unsung hero. That might be flop or unsung hero. But top is the person.
Granted. When I think Pulisic, it's true he didn't really do it against the big
top
teams.
teams.
Yes, that can be quite a point to criticize him for. However, I don't feel like there was a moment or like a month where he disappeared.
Where he
was
sucked.
always
No,
he
you're
was
absolutely
always
right.
there, you know. And his output was always not output. His movement was always correct. He was always involved. He was always lively. He came on and changed games. He started. He played well. For me, he impressed me this season, Pulisic. I did not expect him to impress me this much.
100%. And he was in the debate in my head. I just thought that, at a point, Theo sometimes was playing left back, center back.
Yes.
Center back. And just for a player that is so athletic as him, you would expect him to get so many more injuries. And there were so many hidden points that he would get Milan just by being so fucking street smart. Just by getting a player sent off, just by fucking winning some time, just by going down at the right time to relieve some pressure off his teammates. He's the smartest player Milan have in that regard.
I think so.
He is, and keep in mind, there were a lot of occasions this season where he captained the team when Calabria was left out. So I really did see those leadership qualities come out in Theo Hernandez this season, which is why I gave it to him. My second, who was going to overtake him, was Manyan. And I'll explain why. It's not because Manyan had the best season he's ever had for Milan, because he's probably had the worst season he's ever had for Milan. But still, in the big moments, bro pulls off mad saves. Yes. Mad saves.
But my player of the season can't be a goalkeeper who, in fact, it wasn't yours either, who misses so many games. When you look at it though, Pulisic in 32 starts has 12 goals and 8 assists, which is pretty mad. 20 goal contributions in 32
Look at
starts.
Giroud's numbers and look at Leao's numbers, and you'll debate giving the top to them as well. Bro.
Yes, however, I can't give my top to Giroud simply because without the players around him, I know that's kind of a bullshit argument, but that's how I thought about it. Without the players around him, Giroud wouldn't have been capable of doing what he did.
I see where you're coming from.
And he does come with his limitations at his age, you know. Like sometimes those flicks piss me the fuck off. You know, I mean, granted, he did actually rack up those assists. And not to mention Leao, again, another victim of his own high standards, because when it comes to pure talent on the team, Leao is miles ahead. Don't get it wrong. We're not undermining Leao's capabilities over here. It's just his consistency that he needs to work on. I gave it to Pulisic simply because he came in his debut season and he blew me away. And that's simply why I gave it to him. Because if this was Leao's first season ever, for example, he would have probably got it. Let's look at his numbers, actually, Leao. He's got 9 goals and 9 assists. The fact that Pulisic actually managed to come and do better. Output-wise in his first season is
in
quite...
a position that Milan struggled with for so many seasons.
And in a position that we're not even sure Pulisic is preferred in, right wing, you know?
Who's your flop?
My flop is Malik Chow.
But he was out injured.
He was out injured, but when he came back, he was so shaky, bro. I know it's a little bit harsh.
Because he was injured for so long and he's like 20 years old.
Sure, but he was my flop, considering what I've seen from him in the past.
Fair enough.
Who have you put?
Calabria.
Fair enough.
Because I think, not that my expectations were so high of Calabria, but I believe the club's expectations of Calabria must be high because he's wearing the armband and he's starting every other game. So I think if I had to pinpoint one player when Milan were top, if I could pinpoint one player and I can say he's a step behind, it's Calabria. And he's in the starting 11.
It's about time that Milan actually
upgrade.
There's
upgrade.
That Thiago Santos. Not necessarily sell him, because I'm sure he's great for the locker room. He's one of the only ones who actually knows what it's like what Milan means at the core, you know. And he's been through the ringer with Milan as well.
He has been.
Chow was out injured, but he did get 21 games, so he got more than half the season, and half the season, and never actually grew into the season. I think he had one game where we praised him. Other than that, bro, it was kind of disastrous. Let's be real. Granted, he's young, again, as you mentioned, 22 years old, but I expected more from him.
That takes us to our unsung hero. I think there's only one correct answer, maybe two.
It depends. So, Giroud is criticized a lot. Could he be an unsung hero?
You and Giroud.
I wrote Giroud, but I have a backup just in case it isn't. Just in case it doesn't count.
I think Giroud can be an
I
unsung
agree.
hero.
Okay, so I have Okafor.
Okay.
Who do you have?
The only correct answer.
Who?
Gabbia.
Gabbia, dude.
Gabbia came in for 6 months and solved so many problems.
It's true.
So many problems he solved, man.
But same can be said about Okafor, because when he was brought on in situations, he solved many problems as well.
I was gonna put Jovic.
Jovic again, but Jovic, then the problem is when he was given the start, he never actually did anything. I feel like Okafor's season was fucked with injuries. Fucked it was. Like he was constantly, like he would come back, get injured. But it like never stopped him. He still maintained that hunger and that desire, and he never slowed down.
I like Noah.
Noah, I'm curious to see what he can do if he's healthy.